Good afternoon, LinkedIn. My name is Dominic. This is episode 2 of my brand new show, the LinkedIn Live Daily. My guest today is a wonderful lady by the name of Pauline Kwasniak. We're going to be talking about all things social media. Since I was given access to LinkedIn Live just on Wednesday last week, I've been in the fortunate position of picking up the phone and asking to have a number of guests on this show, really at my choice. And the wonderful thing when you've got access to something new within a new product is that mostly people say yes. And that's exactly what's happened. And as I said on the show yesterday with Fran, which, by the way, is still in my activity, if you look down there somewhere, you will be able to find the video. I said on the show with Fran yesterday that I wanted to use this platform not only to promote my own business, but actually also to give other people an opportunity to share their message and share their story. I run a live streaming and video production company, so I spend my weeks and my days producing content for other people, enabling them to tell their story better out on social media. This platform, the LinkedIn Live platform, is perhaps the best opportunity that we have to do that. It's going to be huge, and I'm in the very fortunate position of being one of the first people to get access to it. As I said just now, my guest on the show today is the very lovely Pauline Kwasniak. Pauline runs and is the chief executive of TurnedSee, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. She also looks after marketing for mBooked. She is also the chapter leader in Dublin for Travel Massive. She is an advocate for women in tech, and she is a globally known and globally recognized events professional. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show my very dear friend, Pauline. Pauline, welcome.
Hi, Dominic. Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Very, very good today. Travel Tuesday. So,
well, it's very nice to have you on the show. Thank you very much for joining us. Everyone's busy, and I'm very grateful that you're able to spend your time or share your time with us today. We've got so many things to talk about, but it's all in and around social media. But before we get into any of that, Pauline, I have one very big question to ask you, which I very nearly forgot. Have you got the chameleon with you?
yes.
Where?
So this is my chameleon, TurnedSee.
Okay,
He's here. He's with me.
You can explain and you can tell people about him in just a moment. I think he should stay in the shot, whether he goes on the shelf behind you or he sits on your shoulder. It's entirely up to you.
Let's leave him here. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Pauline, can you do me the great favor of explaining to our audience who you are, what your background is, where you've come from, etc., etc.?
Okay, so thanks very much, Dominic, for having me on the show. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm honored. You are doing a great job with your business, and I love it. So go stream. So my name is Pauline Kwasniak, as you said. I'm a Polish-born entrepreneur who has emigrated over to Ireland at just 16 years old. Recently, I just turned 30, so we can safely say nearly half of my life I've spent in Ireland. And I'm an events professional. I run a kind of global platform with venues, unique venues for events professionals and corporate marketing executives that are looking for unique, different venues for their events. And I'm a born entrepreneur. I love working for myself and working on new projects. And I'm a social media enthusiast as well. I love social media.
You work for yourself now. I'm going to assume that that hasn't always been the case. What are some of the various jobs that you've done since you were old enough to work?
So actually, I've nearly always worked for myself, would you believe?
Okay.
There were a few positions. So my first job was as a waitress and hostess. So that's when I was 17, 18 years old. But I got into modeling later on in my life. And yes, we were agency represented, but it was working on your own initiative. Later on, I was helping my sister with her beauty salon. Mm-hmm. She used to own a beauty salon in Dublin. So I was working there. I was working for her, you could say. Yeah. But I also worked on my own initiative. Finally, I worked for another startup in travel technology when I graduated college. But but I've always kind of worked on my own initiative as a freelancer, event speaker. So yeah, I launched my own venue finding agency at 25 years old, that was a hotel for meetings. And I also provided advice and support to corporate companies. I worked with McDonald's, with Saudi Aramco, with Broadsoft, and most of my clients were over from the UK, even though I was based in Ireland. And I got all of my experience there. But to be honest with you, I've been involved in event planning since I was a little girl, always, as a charity event planner at school. So that was always in my heart.
That's already a lot even before you turn 30. But then there's these things, there's all of these things, like when we were talking earlier, there's all these things that you're kind of working in and around at the moment. So let's take, in no particular order, I'm just going to pick Travel Massive. Tell us a bit about Travel Massive.
Travel Massive is an international organization with around 150,000 professionals. It's a trade-only organization for travel professionals from tech companies. So we would have members from tech giants, from startups in travel technology, but also travel bloggers, travel journalists, and people just interested in travel as well. And each city has a chapter. We in Ireland have a chapter in Dublin. There's 2 other professionals who are chapter leaders who started the chapter, and they have invited me a few months ago to join in and lead with them. We organize free events, always sponsored by another fabulous travel company, but they are trade only, so the networking is of a very high level.
And are they networking events?
Yes, networking, pitches. We always have a panel. So, for example, last week we have hosted an event sponsored by Open Job Technologies about China rising and the power of China in the travel industry. We had a panel of very interesting, important speakers, a lot of guests, networking, some networking as well. We invited a few startups to give them the opportunity to network with those travel professionals. Next month, we are doing an event with Enterprise Ireland with 2 big airlines, Ryanair and American Airlines. So another great event with very senior people on the panel.
Amazing. And you're the chapter leader. What does that mean?
So there's 3 of us, basically 3 people, 3 professionals that are in charge of running the events, running the networking, securing sponsorship. We have Kevin O'Shaughnessy. He is a founder of City Hook, which is a great company automating the travel. Once you get to the airport and you want to get into the city with your group, this is the company that helps you do that. And then Mark Lenahan, who is head of airline propositions at Travelport. And it's funny as well how I met Mark, because I was introduced to Mark via Twitter, and an introduction was made from a professional from Moscow.
Right.
So there you go, power of social media.
The power of social media, which is actually why we're here in the first place, and what we're going to come on to talk about in a minute. So we should come back to that story. You're still running events though, correct?
That's it, correct. I run events for Travel Massive and for other clients as well.
Yeah, okay. And then you're going to have to help me out with the order of here. We've got 2 things to talk about. Your main business as chief exec is TurnedSee, and then you've also got mBooked. So which one came first? But regardless of which one came first, we're going to talk about mBooked first.
Yeah. So actually, there are 2 of the same. The team that has been involved in mBooked is the same team that has created TurnedSee.
Okay.
mBooked has been launched first,
and
then we created the TurnedSee platform. But we sister companies. mBooked is a modern next ticketing system connected to Stripe, but which also allows you as an event planner to promote your events online via affiliate links. Our system also connects to Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, LinkedIn Insight Tags. So it gives you the latest techniques available for digital marketeers. And as an event planner who has been planning events and maybe is not a digital marketeer, this is an amazing tool. And what's interesting is that we also have already sold tickets with this system in more than 10 countries on 2 continents.
Okay.
And we haven't even been live for a year yet.
Okay.
So it's a great achievement.
So it's a product that's out there, but still beta testing, or it's out there as a live product, but just growing and scaling?
So mBooked is already a live product, and we have a great tech team, and there's always new things that we add in to the product. TurnedSee, on the other hand, has been launched, but we are still onboarding the venues.
Okay. So let's talk about TurnedSee. Now, before we do that, I think now would be a pretty good time to drop in. You sent me a video to play into this, so why don't we just take, what is it, 50-ish seconds? I think let's just have a quick look at the video. Yeah?
Thank you.
When was the last time you have organized a truly memorable event? Was it because it was close to your office? Or was it because you had access to a unique place that made people feel special? TurnedSee helps you find the most unique hotels and venues quickly and directly connects you to the right person for a quote. Sleep in a room where Churchill used to sleep in, or have drinks in a bar where Ian Fleming wrote James Bond. The possibilities are endless. Join our exclusive community and never miss out again. Register now on TurnedSee.com.
So that's TurnedSee. We don't need to say anything else. We could just switch off now and we're done, right?
Maybe I will just mention that for now we are starting with Central and Eastern Europe.
Okay.
With regards to venues available.
Okay. So obviously we need to talk about TurnedSee because it's your main business, and he's also one of the reasons that little fella's sitting on your left shoulder at the moment. So explain, why the chameleon, why TurnedSee, where's it come from?
So as a corporate event planner with my agency, I spend a lot of time online looking for venues. And yes, there's other platforms, but I always felt like it was kind of copy and paste approach. The information that was available on the platforms about different venues was not complete. And a funny thing, when I attended various trade shows or when I was invited for site inspections and I actually got talking to the team at the venue, I always got the background story, the uniqueness of the venue, the insider tips, history. So I wanted a platform where I, as an event planner, can easily find all this information out. And that's why we created TurnedSee. And the name of the platform is from Turn and See more. And that's why the chameleon is also our logo. Because first of all, we promote sustainability. We want to promote less known destinations and bring economic power of the MICE industry to those destinations. Chameleons are an endangered species. So we felt it's very fitting.
And he's quite popular, right?
He's quite popular. He is traveling with me all the time. He has already been photographed with a lot of suppliers. He is coming with me to IMEX, and people can't wait to meet him. I'm also, a part of this nice association of women in events technology in America.
Yeah.
And a lady who is running it, Dalia, she was texting me the other day, and she was so excited about meeting TurnedSee as well. So it's great. It's great. I'm really humbled by the kind of the attention he's getting. Never mind me.
Great, because it's a really simple little thing. It's a really simple little interaction. It's a quick photo, but it's a quick photo that you don't have to take, that someone else is going to take, because they'll get a selfie. That selfie goes out onto social media, and then people start asking questions. Who is that? Why is he there? Where's he come from? And all of a sudden it gets linked, and that's the power of the social network. I'm next going to see you at the meeting show, and I'm going to get my photo with TurnedSee.
Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait.
So, it's a good lead in, right? Because you're using your little chameleon on your shoulder as a way to, I guess, start a conversation with people face to face. But Let's talk about social media followings. Let's talk about social media in general. Which platforms do you use personally and for your business? Where do you draw the line between how you use those individually? And why do you use the platforms that you're using?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. As an entrepreneur, right now in the 21st century, we have an amazing opportunity to use social media to our advantage, to promote. And before, you would have to get approved by a newspaper editor or a television editor. And now you can just be on social media and do your thing. I love LinkedIn. I'm investing heavily in LinkedIn, in the quality of my connections on LinkedIn. So I'm one of these people who, if I get an invite, I really check everyone. I check everyone out. You know, and a lot of people think just about the quantity. I have nearly 7,000 connections, yes, but for me, they are all quality connections. I love following other important and interesting people. Facebook, I'm using Facebook, both more the stories function and the groups function. I'm on Events Industry Elite and the Delegate Wranglers. These are two of my favorite groups in UK. But I also have my own group called Female Event Planners.
Yeah.
So I love Facebook for that.
Okay, well, I'll jump in on that one. Is that a group that anyone can join, or is that a closed kind of invite-only group?
Closed invite group, but women can send an invite if they answer a question. This is a group for events professionals, but female events professionals, working for hotels, venues, restaurants, destinations, agencies, corporates. And it's not really selling or promotional group. It's more for support, educational, and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to Facebook groups in a minute because they've been amazing for my business as well. And there's a few things that we can pick up on that subject particularly. So you're using LinkedIn, you're using Facebook, Twitter?
Yes, absolutely. I'm using Twitter more as an individual than a company Twitter. I have over 3,000 connections as well. They are all very quality connections. And I just feel like Twitter is an amazing medium for people to follow you as an individual or an expert in a certain area. And I must say that I feel a little bit, not stupid, but it's a little bit of a pity that I picked up Instagram quite late.
I would absolutely agree. I was very, very, very late to the party on Instagram, so much so that I almost missed the party and everyone's drunk and swimming in the pool.
That's it. I have a friend who's one of the most important influencers here in Ireland. Hi, Adana, if you're watching this. And she is an amazing lady based in Ireland and doing a great job using Instagram as a medium, doing different collaborations. So I'm investing now in Instagram with the company account, with cool posts. But I was reading the other day that you should be doing a few different things on Instagram, using the IGTV, using the stories, and not so much the feed. They were talking about even that they will be hiding the likes and the number of likes. So I do think when it comes to Facebook and Instagram, that the feed is kind of disappearing slowly. Both platforms.
I noticed. I raised this with a friend of mine just last week. Actually, we were flicking through, and he said, "Oh, have you noticed that Facebook have started changing their branding?" And I said, "Yeah, but have you also noticed just how much movement there's been away from the news feed of your friends and family, more towards the groups and the business pages that you like?"
Absolutely.
And that's been a noticeable shift since Mark Zuckerberg announced this whole Facebook version 5. There's been a marked difference in the content that I've seen in my newsfeed, and actually, that's not a bad thing. That's a positive change because, like you, I use Facebook now for following the businesses that I want to follow, engaging with the businesses and brands that I want to engage with. And most importantly is Facebook groups. That's really the only reason I pick up my phone and go through Facebook now, because the people that I talk to, that I want to talk to away from that, I would pick the phone up to anyway.
That's it, absolutely. And even as something silly like posting a photo on Facebook right now, you might get 10 likes, but if you post it into your story, you will get 80 views.
Yeah, and if it goes on Instagram, who knows how many you're going to get.
Yeah, that's it.
I like I said, I was late to the party on that one, so I don't get too much activity.
But you are first to the party on LinkedIn. So,
I was
hey.
absolutely, yeah, exactly. Thank you for raising that. I was first to the party here, not really of my own doing, apart from, I guess, a little bit of merit, but they were very kind to invite me, and yeah, here we are. Twitter. So here's a question, and I talked about this very briefly on one of the kind of test shows of these that I did last week when I was just mucking about with LinkedIn. It was a question posed to me. How do you split, when you're talking on social media, how do you split the difference between what you say and how you say it on your personal Twitter feed and what you say and how you say it on the business page, on the business side?
Yeah, I am my brand. I've always, and I've been actually advised against it by my investors. They told me, you should separate the company and yourself. But I don't know. I like to connect with people on that kind of level. So you just have to make sure that your views, if you are posting or tweeting on behalf of a company or on behalf of a hotel, that you adhere to their policies, obviously. I kind of use a few simple rules and no negativity, trying to be kind. Even if I want to say something negative, say it in a kind of nice feedback-ish way. But yeah, I'm a wrong example again because I'm an entrepreneur. So I love that freedom that I can actually pick up Twitter and do whatever I want, and I won't be reprimanded by my manager or whoever. But yeah, it's all about common sense, Dominic, isn't it? In life and in social media. I mean, I treat social media, anything that I would say to a person face to face, that's what I would say to social media. If you're saying or commenting something that you wouldn't say to a person or a company in real life, if you met them face to face, don't post it.
Absolutely.
Don't post it.
Absolutely. I was picked up on my use, and I'm not going to mention it because I need to make sure that it's locked down before I do. I was picked up a couple of weeks ago by somebody on my use of one of the social media channels because I've noticed that it's a really good way to interact with companies that don't provide a very good service face to face.
Yeah.
There are some businesses that are very, very good online and really not very good when you actually go and experience that business. Twitter is I've just said it. Twitter is a very good way to vent to the brands that don't perform particularly well when you go and spend money with them, when you're engaging with them face to face. And it's a really good way to get a quick answer to customer service problems.
Absolutely. I had this.
I find myself on my personal Twitter account, and I am going to go and lock it down. But I find myself on my personal Twitter account talking to brands about lack of service or where they haven't met expectations in delivery. I would never do that on the business side.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But what I would say is I would say the same thing to them face to face if you had that opportunity. You just don't. It's just it's quite their use of social media is quite faceless.
Yeah, I'm using Twitter as well in that regard, but I also want people in the future, especially when the company have a problem or if there's something not up to their liking. It's great. I think I'm sending a newsletter out every week about digital tips for mice, and we spoke about it last week actually in the newsletter, to use to use Twitter, and not really as a self-promotional, but as a way to give to your clients, to give you feedback or communicate with you, because it's just so easy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really quick engagement. When you know that you can pick up your phone, jump on a social media account, send a message to a business or brand or company that you've experienced or engaged with, and know that you're going to get a response from that, that's amazing. It's far easier than going through 15 telephone button pushes to get to somebody that actually probably isn't going to answer or care.
And if you are talking to a few budget airlines, for example, they might not have a phone service.
Now, Pauline, you live in Dublin. Which possible budget airline could you be talking about?
No, I love our Irish Airlines. And by the way, we are hosting Ryanair as well for the event next month. And I've been traveling with Ryanair all the time. I think we are very lucky here in Ireland that we have this airline, and I enjoy it. But it is commonly known that it is difficult to get through to them.
Yeah.
We are lucky in Dublin because I can actually go to the airport and speak to the team.
Which
But
is probably easy for you.
yeah, but if not, Twitter, they're very good on Twitter. They're very fast on Twitter, and they will respond on Twitter.
But isn't it funny, because public perception of Ryanair is that they're, in general, their customer service and attention to detail when it comes to customer satisfaction is lacking. And yet, if you go on Twitter, particularly, it's a really good example. They are active. They do respond to questions. I don't think they respond to everything, but they are quite good.
Yeah, they are. Within reason. I mean, there's so many people traveling. It's a budget airline. You're not going to get a luxurious service. It's the same when you go to a Chanel store, how you are treated, as opposed to when you go to a high street fashion. It's, but people want the best. People are good at complaining, People are really good.
That's me. So you got LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We covered all of those. Let's jump back to Facebook, because I think both you and I, in actual fact, you and I ended up meeting not directly as a result of a Facebook group, but it was really because of a Facebook group.
Yeah.
I use them daily, several times daily, and I know you're the same. So you've mentioned event industry elite. You've mentioned female event planners, which is yours. You and I are both part of one of the greatest Facebook groups for event professionals, the Delegate Wranglers.
That's
there are others.
Yeah, Delegate Wranglers is the biggest and the best, with 14,000 members, and they are all industry members, with suppliers, buyers messaging daily, looking for contacts, looking for solutions, looking for advice. You can promote your business on special supplier hour. I've already done it today. I love this feature.
It's and actually I was going to pick you up on this, because actually I think it might be freelance hour. I think supplier hour's tomorrow.
No, today. Oh, you are right. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Oh no, so my post will get deleted.
It will probably get deleted.
By
the way, I'm
you're right.
hoping we haven't confirmed a day for this yet, but I have been in touch with Neil. Neil Thompson runs Delegate Wranglers. He does an unbelievable job, because managing 14,000 unruly event professionals is particularly tricky. But he has said that he will come on this show. So I'm going to clip this little bit out and say, Neil, to you, please, can we get a date booked in as soon as you can possibly do it? Because there's a really great story behind Delegate Wranglers and everything that you've done. And so many people that I talk to, literally in every corner of this country that I've visited doing my job, knows Delegate Wranglers and has benefited from it in some way.
Absolutely. And for people that do not know, Neil has always been awarded an MIT award for the personality of the year during the awards in London earlier on February. I was there, so I was lucky to see it and celebrate a little bit. But yeah, it is a great group. And for people who are like me, not based in the UK, but want to get involved in the UK market, this is just an unbelievable resource. And not only to myself, to yourself, but a lot of different people. We are always, even if there is a buyer looking for a particular service and I'm not providing it, but I know someone that does, we tag those people in. We look after each other.
And
we look after
really
the community.
Quick. You will have experienced this as well. I mean, I've had a couple of things. I've put a couple of requests out myself. It's so fast how quick it works. So, and in this industry where things are so rapid and things change so quickly, it's really important to get that speed.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. And for anybody studying event management, they should absolutely right now go to the Delegate Wranglers group and just even look and read the requests. What's happening in the industry? There's a lot. It's just like an encyclopedia, really, for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
And you can see why he's building it so quickly outside of the UK as well.
Now, and the other group that I mentioned, the Events Industry Elite, that was created by Andy Hammond. It's another group, but it's very niche. With around 300 members, and they select the members, and it's also fantastic networking. Most of people are from the UK, and it's a totally different concept, very, very niche, but also extremely good. And it helps me when I travel alone for different shows and events to coordinate and talk to other people who are also traveling. And that particular group makes me feel safe, appreciated, and just happy in general.
We should clip these up and send them to the group managers, because we're the best advert for them.
Yeah, but you know, they're doing so much for the community. They should
Absolutely.
be celebrated, and they should be, yeah, they should be. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, you know, this leads on to the main, and we've already started touching on it anyway, but the main reason that you and I wanted to talk, and what we wanted to talk about, which is the power of building an online network. Just run through some of the numbers in terms of what you've picked up in terms of followers, followers or page likes in different social channels. I think you mentioned 7,000 LinkedIn.
So I wasn't really aware of social media. I wasn't an expert. So I started from zero, and in 2 years' time, I'm now at nearly 7,000 on LinkedIn. I even got one of my articles liked around 30,000 times. I wrote a really nice article about Elon Musk and hiring people for what they have at their heart, not their talent. So that went viral. And then Twitter around 3,000, couple of hundreds on Facebook, so on and so forth. But again, as I said, I started from zero. I wasn't being kind of strategic about it. It just kind of went along. But the quality of connections that I made on social media, and I can tell you, Irina Graf from the Mice blog, many different collaborations met via Twitter. Mark Lanahan, Travel Massive Dublin, met him via tweet from a person from Moscow. Some of my golf clients from Ireland, again, met via Twitter. So I could just give you so many examples like that.
Yeah. It's very much the case, certainly in my experience, that you get out of it what you put in. You said that you vet everyone that you've now accepted on LinkedIn. Do you think everyone's doing that?
Some people do. People who certainly... Okay, let me tell you something like this. My connections are my value, and they are important to me. So I don't want any kind of, I wouldn't say weird people, but unprofessional people who are spamming. I'm not sure how the situation looks like with men, but I get a lot of weird messages on LinkedIn from men wanting to go for dinner and stuff like that, which is really annoying and really unprofessional. So just block.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I vet my connections as well, for the quality, for peace of mind.
Absolutely, but I don't think everyone's doing it, and I think more people should. And I would probably put my hands up to this. In the early days of my use of LinkedIn, probably very similar to how I used Facebook. You just accept everybody because you're trying to build that network, right? And then very soon you realize, as was the case for me, that there are some people that I ended up connected with on Facebook, and you suddenly realize why it's been 25 years since school that you haven't spoken to them. That's very much the case with LinkedIn. So I'm purposely now going back and probably re-vetting some of the connections that I've made on there, because either some of them aren't relevant, or actually they're just posting stuff out there that that tries to steer it more towards the Facebook than it is a professional network. Do we still have you, Pauline?
Yeah.
I think you very briefly just dropped out then. So I'm glad you jumped back on. There was a moment of panic probably in my face. I thought, have we dropped the connection?
No, me too.
No, we're all good. Yeah, so I'm going back and re-vetting some of my LinkedIn connections. I don't do it so much on the other social channels. But I just think the way we're using LinkedIn, the way we're using social media has changed quite dramatically over the last few years. You will have seen it definitely if you've been working for yourself. What's your experience been? How do you use it differently now to how you perhaps did?
And there's more people now involved in social media. So there's a lot of new people coming up, claiming themselves as experts. And that wasn't the case 3-4 years ago. There was less of us, I would say. There's a lot of different courses now that you could do, digital marketing, including social media. I think practice is what makes you great at social media. I learned firsthand. I didn't do any courses on social media. So I just see more people kind of involved in it, more people selling the power of it. When it comes to Facebook, major shift, as we spoke before, to stories, to Facebook groups. LinkedIn has grown in power, and in my humble view, it will grow even more. I am all in on LinkedIn. I love it. I love the new features, all the changes that they're doing, investing. I absolutely love it.
Let me ask you about that particularly then, because and I've spoken about this in videos before, and I think I probably spoke about this in something that I said last week as well. I think over the last couple of years turned into a little bit of a LinkedIn skeptic, because you had seen so much more content that was steering it more towards a Facebook than it was a professional network. You were seeing the videos drop in, the memes, the silly stuff that you can go to Facebook for. And it just seemed to me like it was blurring the lines. And I'd stop really using it. I would check it every now and again. Nothing like the amount that I check it anymore. They seem to, and I don't know if you've noticed, but they seem to have made a real concerted effort to try and drive that professionalism back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it as well. Absolutely. And I'm happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It can only be a good thing. And I guess, there's various elements of feature and functionality that they're building out. They've got, I don't know if you've seen, but they've got LinkedIn Events, which is another beta product that I've seen a small handful of people have been testing over the last few weeks. And then, of course, the very wonderful LinkedIn Live, which you and I are both benefiting from right now.
Perfect. I love it. I was so excited about this feature. And as I said, I know a lot of people on LinkedIn, but you were the first person that I knew of, not even that I knew personally, but that I knew of in Europe that has been using it. I've only seen it once or twice used by people in the USA. So congratulations.
Thank you. I just think it's one of those things, there's a reason why I've ended up doing this, and I've had access to it, and I'm very grateful to those that put me forward to LinkedIn to get access to it. But I think when you're given access to stuff like this, new feature or new functionality, there's a bit of responsibility to make use of it and actually showcase that as best you can. And I said to you earlier on, there's only so many times I can talk about my business. There's only so many times that I can sit in front of the camera by myself and just talk. So what better way to use it than to give other people the opportunity to share their stories, get their message across, and just communicate.
It's all about collaboration, isn't it? And this is the key to social media. People think it's all about paid ads. No, it's about collaboration as well. It's something that we're doing at the moment. The more people you collaborate with, the better the reach, and they will invite their own networks, like I've done today for this show, and so on and so forth. So people should be looking at social media, even if they have huge marketing budgets, they should be looking to social media as a collaboration device, networking device, PR device, not just hard sales paid ads.
Absolutely. How much time do you think you are investing in, not on any specific channel, how much time generally do you think you're investing in building out your network?
A few hours a day, for sure. I'm terrible.
Do you think you should be doing more, or do you think you're doing too much, or is it kind of working?
I'm an entrepreneur again, so I can't breathe without my business. I work so many hours. It's my passion, it's my hobby, it's my drive. It's fun. It's fun for me. I love it. It's, as I said, it's my hobby. So I'm trying to kind of be a little bit more structured about it, though, and I'm trying to turn off my phone for Sundays.
Okay.
I am, not the company phone, but especially my own personal phone, because we have a special WhatsApp channel both for mBooked and for TurnedSee with 24-hour support from our clients. As I said, TurnedSee is not that busy yet with requests just coming in, but for mBooked, we do get a lot of questions from our users. So that has to be answered by our team. but I'm trying to not be online all the time. And I've noticed that if I switch off my phone for Sunday and I'm kind of just going for a walk, run, doing the normal thing, I get more inspiration on Monday, more ideas.
You come back a bit more refreshed.
That's it. And you want to post and promote. And also about social media, I'm trying to give value. I'm trying to give content that is of a value. I don't want to constantly just promote. And that's really, really important in a LinkedIn social media world. There's so many things that people are posting. If you do not give value to people, why should they follow you? Why should they comment? Why should they read your stuff or watch it? Watch us right now.
I can't remember who it was that said it. Someone watching, and we have got people watching, may even jump in and tell me, but one of the kind of thought leaders that's out on, or influencers out on social media, says value is the new marketing. And
Gary Vaynerchuk, maybe, because
was it his?
He's always saying that. He's always saying that. Might be him, Gary V.
It might have been him. It might have been him that first said it, but it's absolutely true. You know, we have people watching this. Someone will take something away from this chat that might make them go and do something differently in their work life or in their personal life. And immediately, just with that one person, you and I in this conversation have delivered value, and therefore it was worth doing.
That's it.
That can only be a good thing.
And I also believe in branding. You know, there was a lot of tests being done that people don't really respond to brands anymore, or that brands are not important. I actually disagree. If you look at women, every time they pass a Prada or Louis Vuitton store and they get their look in the eyes, and if someone tries to tell me that branding is not important or in fashion anymore, that's not true. So you can use social media to build your brand. Build your brand as an individual, as a business owner, as a professional, or for a specific business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pick back up on something that we were talking about just a few seconds ago, which is about the fact that you're turning your phone off. And I wasn't going to go down this route, and it's only kind of come up by accident. But in the UK, and I'm guessing it's going to be the same in Ireland, over here it is Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yes.
And one of the particular areas that I want to cover with this show this week and going forward is the whole subject of mental health in the workplace. And I guess what you were talking about just now, that whole feeling of coming back into work on Monday refreshed and revived, has been triggered by the fact that you're turning your phone off on Sundays.
Yeah.
Now, that's one small change. It's actually very, very simple to do. We can all get away, or we can all do without our phones just for that amount of time. But it's so important. This whole idea of the always on mentality is what's driving so many issues in the workplace. What made you, was there someone or something that made you decide to turn your phone off?
It was myself. I got a huge headache one day, 1 week actually. I was always on social media, doing this, doing that, and one day I just got a huge headache, absolutely tremendous. And I said to myself, this is not right. I can't keep doing it, because I would still go for a walk, but I would have my phone and I kept checking it or liking or sending something to Instagram. And I just said to myself, this is ridiculous. And then I noticed the positive change. I'm a writer as well, and I write different articles. I absolutely love writing. And sometimes if I was online too much, I wouldn't get any inspiration. I wouldn't get any new ideas. And now I can honestly tell you, I do get new ideas, and I feel much better. And also I would get panic attacks, would you believe? If I was on social media for too long, always constantly switched on with my business, talking to people, I would get a panic attack if the phone kind of buzzed. It wasn't huge, but I could really feel this anxiety. It was awful. I didn't like it at all.
One of the small changes that I made probably about a year or 18 months ago, there's a really brilliant series of books called I think it's the Do Book Company, and there's a whole series of books in there, and there's Do, Disrupt, Do, Storytell, Do, and then there's one particularly called Do Breathe. And within the book Do Breathe, there are a number of different exercises for how you can kind of help switch your mind off and give yourself that positive mind refresh and reset. And one of the exercises in there is to switch off on your phone all notifications.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so I did that, and I when I was going through the list, we've all seen the list of notifications that you have to go through, and you switch them all off, and you're deciding how you want to receive those notifications. It's just awful, and you're going through it, and you're thinking, oh no, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to miss out on everything. And actually, what you realize, and one of the reasons they say it, is because when you switch those off, you will still go and check Facebook, but you're not governed by the ping in your ear or the vibration on your leg when your phone's in your pocket.
I've done it.
You
I've
have?
done it. Yeah, I have it on silent. Well, I didn't specify, but I get all the notifications, but they're on silent. So I pick up my phone and I see like 20, 50 sometimes, but then I can decide what I want to see.
Yeah. And it makes such a huge difference. And I'm really glad actually that we got just a couple of minutes to touch on that subject, because it's hugely important. It is being talked about more, and there's less and less stigma attached to it. But
yeah, we need to understand that everything within reason and within boundaries. Social media is amazing. We live in the 21st century. I certainly wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the social media. I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah.
But your health and your well-being needs to be at number one priority.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. There's a great picture that's doing the rounds, probably because it's Mental Health Awareness Week, of a picture of a battery on a phone, and it's down at kind of 2 or 3%. And it says, you wouldn't let this happen to your phone, don't let it happen to your health. And it's just brilliant. It's just perfect. Anyway, you said just now this is the 21st century, and I think I'm going to use that as the tenuous link into one other subject that we need to talk about. And we've been talking for ages, but it's great. The 21st century has brought about an awful lot of change in many, many ways. But one of those, which has been long overdue, is equality, diversity, accessibility, and inclusion. And over the last couple of years, particularly, we've seen an awful lot of the women's rights movements come in. I know that you're a big advocate for women in tech, particularly, and that you've spoken publicly about it. Talk. What do you talk about? How do you talk about it? And what are people listening to?
I met a lady a few years ago called Shaku Atre. She was one of the first ladies at IBM. That was years and years ago. And she has an organization in India that helps women from impoverished backgrounds to gain education in STEM. So science, technology, medicine, and she kind of sponsors their degrees, and then when they get a job in those particular fields, then they repay back the organization. And my background is in humanities as well, European studies, European law. But I knew when I was older, when I finished my degree, that I wanted to go into technology. And so I decided that, let's learn. Let's get some practice in, because this is the future. Everything is about technology now. And the second point also, speaking with this lady that I told you about, Shaku Atre, but also other people involved in technology, is that women in particular make much more money, better salaries, better jobs, if they do have a degree in mathematics, engineering, medicine, technology-related discipline. So this is really a way to make sure that women are independent, that they have enough money, that they don't need to stay in a bad relationship, for example, because they can't afford to bring their children up. These jobs pay the best. And a lot of women are afraid of them. A lot of women are afraid of technology, of mathematics, of digital marketing, or afraid to re-educate themselves. 5 years ago, I didn't know what hosting for a website was.
I was just going to ask you to kind of just step back and talk about your journey as a woman in tech. Because you told me earlier that 5 years ago you didn't know what hosting was, and now you're CEO of a tech company, and you look after PR and marketing for another, and you're using tech every day. But that's a mindset change, right? You decided that you were going to re-educate yourself, and how did it come about?
So when I was doing obviously website for my previous business, I had to learn a little bit, and then I had to learn a little bit more. And I just wanted to know. I wanted to know more. I saw this revolution happening. I spoke to a lot of people. There was a lot of movements happening, such as Girls in Tech, girls who code, and there was a lot of support available, and I decided, yeah, this is the time to get into it. My best friend used to be a beautician, and now she's a data analyst as well. She reskilled herself, and I was supporting her as well in it. And what I remember when I was getting involved with the technology business, I was looking at accelerators, I was looking at investors, at different programs, and I thought to myself, oh my God, I will never be there. This is such a high level. Well, guess what? 5 years after, and I did do a fourth best accelerator in Europe. We're raising more investment. I skilled myself, reskilling all the time. And I must say that my co-founders as well, which are both male and both in technology, they're teaching me a lot as well. So it's not only, you can't do it by yourself, you have to surround yourself with good people, attend meetups. There's so many meetups right now, free of charge, where you can learn. Yeah, I just think anything is possible if you want. But what I want to say to women is, do not be scared of going into technology. It's kind of a necessity now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I don't think your message clearly is aimed at women, but I think it should be aimed at anybody now.
Anybody, yeah.
Because tech isn't as scary as everyone thinks.
It isn't, and there's a lot of different apps and a lot of different tools which you can use at the moment, free of charge. And why would you miss out if you don't know the basics? Yes, the message should be targeted at everybody. But it's just because I'm a female immigrant, I kind of associate myself with that group, and I decided if I am to dedicate my time to a certain cause, I will dedicate my time to that, to equality, to female entrepreneurship, female in technology. I have another friend actually from Malta. He has moved over to Ireland and he's a tech entrepreneur, and he studied Latin language. Tyron, if you're watching this, how are you? He has a company, data analytics company called Inbound Muse. He's amazing.
When I look at code, I basically see the same as what I think is Latin.
It's a language, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but like it wouldn't really cross your mind. And he used to teach at the university. So
Okay.
it's just a lot of people think that, oh, great, Mark Zuckerberg was a tech guru. How lucky, because he studied that or he had access to it. But you could be as well. It takes time. And that's why I think it's important to teach children how to code, because they just soak it in. It's so easy for them.
Because, as you said just now, it's just a language.
Yeah.
It's just a language.
That's it, and they should.
And you go all over the world talking about this. Have you got any speaking engagements and you're talking specifically on this subject coming up?
On this subject, yes, there is an event happening in Dublin, digital marketing event. I'm going to be speaking about it. I just have to agree certain things with them. I was supposed to speak at She Means Business IMEX event on the 20th of May, but unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, I can't attend. It was all about women's safety, a bit of women technology. But, you know, we're doing blog posts all the time. I'm commenting all the time on my personal channels as well. So please follow me if you want to know more.
I'm going to stick those up on the screen in just a minute. You just touched on IMEX. That's, I think, probably the next opportunity that anyone who might be watching, and we have an audience, if you've got any questions, please drop them into the comments below, because I can see them. I think I can see what is currently there. The next opportunity to actually see you is you're going to IMEX, 23rd of May, correct?
I will be there on the 22nd and 23rd.
Okay. And then the one after that is the meeting show.
The meeting show as well.
Which is at Olympia on the 26th and 27th of June.
Yes.
But also
Travel Massive Dublin on the 10th of June with Huckletree at Huckletree venue. That's another event that is confirmed. Yeah. Today also, so I was supposed to talk during IMEX about female safety and how female professionals in our industry, if they feel safe or not. And I did a lot of research and I'm not able to deliver that talk, but I dropped a blog post about it today that has been kind of circulating as well. Because it is important.
You can drop a link to that in the comments when we finish in a minute. Drop a link so that people, anyone that's watching afterwards, can see it. while we are doing this, let me stick a few of your social media handles up online. So we are, you are personally on Twitter as @sellingmice, selling MICE. For TurnedSee, you are on Twitter as @TurnedSee. For mBooked, we decided we would go with Instagram. So you are @mBooked on Instagram. And generally, for more information or to contact Pauline, to talk about TurnedSee, to talk about mBooked, to talk about anything to do with women in tech, please go to www.turnedsee.com, which is her main website. And there will be a contact page and all sorts of stuff that you can do.
We have a very cool newsletter about digital tips in mice. TurnedSee newsletter. It's nothing about selling this week, and I'm going to send the newsletter now. It's all about Chinese travelers and your opportunity online to do business with Chinese travelers. So if you want to sign up for that newsletter, it's quite popular, full of really, really good content, top tech tool of the week as well. So if you want.
Cool. Well, people can get in touch with you at TurnedSee, and they can sign up to that newsletter at TurnedSee. Pauline, in terms of what we wanted to cover, I think we've pretty much done it. We've been going for ages, and we have engaged and we have kept an audience all the way through. So if you are watching, it doesn't look like the comments are coming through in real time. So I hope I don't drop off and see that there's 15, 20 comments that I've missed. If that's the case, then I am very, very sorry. Pauline, thank you so much for joining us, for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I loved the fact that we got to know each other indirectly through a Facebook group, and that we got to do this, talking about the benefits of building an online network. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Dominic, as well. And thanks to everybody. Keep hustling, keep being positive, and peace and love to all of you.
Thank you very much. I will see you, probably not at IMX, but I will see you at the meeting show. Wave goodbye to the chameleon, everybody. Pauline, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Another amazing guest. Thank you very much to Pauline for joining me. Tomorrow, we are maintaining the events theme. I am very happy to be joined tomorrow by Adam Parry. Let me stick this on the screen. Adam Parry is the editor of Event Industry News. He is the director of Event Tech Live. And if there's anyone that is connected in the tech, in the event tech sector, it's this guy. He's going to be joining me tomorrow. I think we're just going to talk about anything to do with tech in the events sector across the board. He knows everybody. He's probably seen or heard of every business and supplier that there is out there. And I'm really looking forward to having one of these chats with him. I will be posting this video in full out on Facebook and on Twitter, hopefully by the end of the day. But for now, thank you very much for joining me again. My name is Dominic. I run Stream. We're the UK's first iPhone-only multi-camera live stream and video production company. We are one of the first people, I am one of the first people to be given access to LinkedIn Live. And every day this week, I have some amazing guests coming on to tell their story, to share their message, and to talk about the things that they're most passionate about. Every day I'll be kind of introducing and preloading ready for the next day, so you know who's coming up. I have a guest every day this week, and I now have a guest, I think, confirmed for every day next week. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, as I said, with Adam Parry from Event Industry News and Event Tech Live. Thank you very much for joining me. It's 1 hour, pretty much on the nose. Thank you.